Hi everyone, it's Lara. I am here today with the third part of my series Sewing for Beginners. If you have missed the first and the second part, I will link the videos down below in the description box. And since this is already the third part and there's going to be more videos, I have also created a new playlist for this series, and I will link this playlist also down below in the description box. In today's video, I will explain first steps with a sewing machine, which goes pretty much for any sewing machine because they're pretty much standard and there are really little differences. So what I'm gonna show you today on my sewing machine that I have is going to be good also for other sewing machines. So I'm going to show you how to thread a sewing machine, or how I thread my sewing machine, and how to thread a bobbin and how to put the bobbin in. So this is what we're gonna do today. So if you want to know more about that, then please keep watching, and also make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you won't miss any further episodes or any other projects. And now let's get into this video. So the first steps are absolutely obvious. First of all, I have to plug the sewing machine into a power. So I plug the power cable in, and then there's either on the back or just like in my case on the side the port for your pedal. So I'm just going to plug my pedal now. I always store those in a little box, and once that's done, there is a power switch, and here I can turn my sewing machine on. You have heard the growling sound. This is what she does when I turn her on. The light goes on, it makes a weird sound, and then the display here displays the very first stitch that is in the list, and then I know my machine is on. First, I will show you how I thread my sewing machine, but before we do that together, I wanted to show you the markings that the machine has. Pretty much any sewing machine has markings for threading, which should be helpful. So let's start here. There is a little metal part in the back. It looks like a beak, and this straight line represents the beak. So here we have the first step. So here you have to hook the thread behind this. Then we go down. There's step 2. So there's this ridge where you have to hook the thread through. And then there is step 3. Obviously we have to go up. And then there is step 4, where you have to kind of return. But for that you will need to move the wheel on the side of the machine. Always move it towards you, and this thing emerges, behind which you will hook the thread and go back down. Then the sewing machine has a little part here above the needle where you have to hook it, which is this one. You have to pull it through, and then there is the needle. I will show everything in detail though. So now the less obvious things. So I have here one of those thorns where I can put my thread on, but I like using this one on the top. That can be removed and put in the hole again. This is where I'm going to place my thorn. So you have to watch the direction of the thread. So it goes counterclockwise here. So it goes from left to right. So this is the direction. And then there is a little hook where I have to hook the thread in. And then there are basically arrows that show me what is supposed to be the next step. So I have to go through this slit. And then there is in the front end of the slit where it says I have to go up again. So this is what I'm gonna do. And now there is a wheel on the right side which I will turn down so that this thing appears. And this is where I'm going to hook the thread again. I'm going to pull it down again, and then we have to switch the camera's position so that you can see it from the front. Okay, now we will thread the machine again and have a look at it from this angle, because I think it is always helpful to see it from different angles if you have never done that. So I have placed the thread on the thorn as previously done, so I don't think I need to explain that again. And you probably remember there was a little metal beak on the back, so this is where we need to hook the thread in first. Then we go through this ridge, and then our arrow, it says here number 3, and it signals that we have to go up, so we do that. And there is this hook again, and we hook the thread through, and there is another arrow that sends us downwards. And now I will zoom in so that you see the rest of the process. So once I came down, there is another metal part where I need to hook the thread in. I always like grabbing the thread with my index finger and my thumb to the left side, and with the same fingers of my right hand I pull it to the back so that I have a straight line, and then I hook it behind this little metal part. This is how it works the best for me. So now you can see, I will zoom a little bit more in, and let's make the camera focus on this part. Yeah, I'm gonna repeat this step because I think the camera was out of focus. So come on camera, focus here and stop doing silly things. So I grab the thread with my index fingers and thumbs, and then the camera just won't focus there. And then I pull the thread through this little metal part. Now you can see it is through. So, and then I have to move the little wheel on the side again so that I lift the needle as high as possible. And this is where normally the threading help is a great thing to have, because there is a little handle on the side. You would turn to the front, you would have to hook the thread in and it would thread the needle for you, but mine broke off, as I said in the first video, and I don't mind doing it for myself. So here all I have to do is to find the hole in the needle and pull the thread through. So as you can see, the thread goes from the front to the back. And now once I pulled the needle through, I will pull it through the opening that is in the middle of the sewing foot. I will remove the sewing foot shortly so that you can see what I'm talking about. This opening. So the needle, when the needle is threaded, and when I want to pull the thread through the opening, then it goes from the top like this. So I'm gonna put the sewing foot back and then pull the thread through. But we are not done yet. We need to put in the bobbin. I will show you how to put the bobbin in first, and then I will show you how to thread your bobbin. So I removed this little drawer and opened this flap, and there is the part where the bobbin goes in. The bobbin goes into a metal part that looks like this. There is a beak kind of thing on the top and a little handle that you can open and close. And this is how the thing goes in. So you just have to push it in. I'm gonna put it in now. Okay, it doesn't really work without bobbin. That was a bad idea, forget that. So I turn it over, then I take my bobbin. The thread goes from left to right, and I push the bobbin inside of this metal thing. And then here there's a little ridge where I have to pull the thread through. And then here I hook it in and keep it on the side. When I turn it, it's going to be on the left side. When I look at the bobbin like that, it's on the right side, yes? And now I push the entire thing through. You just have to play with it a little bit until you find the perfect position, and then when you push it, it makes a click. And now what we need this thread to go through this little table so that it connects with the thread from the top. For that, I will need to pull on the wheel on the right. I will show you later again how it looks. I will turn the wheel towards me, and I will do it 1 or 3 times, or I don't know, several times until I see that the thread has been pulled through. And then I like taking my scissors and kind of going underneath the sewing foot, and then I can pull out the thread from the bottom. Once the thread is on the top, I can close this, and I can, sorry, I knocked the camera, and then I can close my drawer. I will repeat the step because sometimes it's good to see it twice. So yeah, maybe I should show you this to you, how to remove the bobbin actually. Whenever you want to remove the bobbin, okay, let me put it back. There's this little hook. Let me zoom in a little bit more. So there's this little handle, or how would you call it? So you open it, and then you can remove the bobbin with the bobbin holder. So I'm going to take the bobbin out again. This time I will demonstrate it with the metal bobbin. So again, the thread goes from left to right. Can you see it? I hope you can. And then I turn the bobbin with the opening towards me, and I push the bobbin simply in. And then there is the little ridge. It goes through here. And then I hook it here in. The goal is to be here between those 2 tiny little metal parts. I hope you can see them easily. Then I turn the bobbin holder over, and the thread is on the left side. I return to my sewing machine. Make sure that this torn faces upwards, because there's a little ridge also in the mechanism here, and I push until it makes click. Let me lift the camera a little bit. Now I will grab the wheel that is on the right side of my sewing machine and pull it forward towards me. And that way the thread from the top grasps the thread from the bottom. I don't know if that was English now, but I think you know what I mean. And then I just have to pull on it, and both threads are on the top. So now I can close the bottom, and I can put in my drawer, and I am ready to be sewing. This is the wheel I spoke of. The wheel is great for moving the needle whenever you want to lift it or lower it, and you basically pull to the front towards you. You pretty much never turn the other direction, so you always pull towards you. And once we start sewing together, I will show you when you have to, or I will tell you when you have to put the needle down, when you have to turn the wheel. I will always say it, so it's gonna be easier for anyone who never used a sewing machine. I know some of those things are pretty obvious, but I'm trying to make those videos useful also for people who really never used a sewing machine, so I hope you can excuse my stating the obvious sometimes. On the top of the sewing machine is also a small diagram that shows you where the thread is supposed to go in order to reach the bobbin. I honestly do it a little bit differently, but I will still show you how is it meant to be originally. So you have here a diagram of the little beak in the back and of the little metal wheel here. And it says that the thread should go back behind the beak and then to the front of the little wheel, and then you would reach your bobbin. I do it differently, which works better for me, which you will see now. Now let's have a look at how to thread the bobbin. So what you're gonna need first is the bobbin itself. There is a thorn where you have to put it on, and you just click it down. And then you position the thread the same way you would do when you want to be sewing, but this time you will pull the thread here over this little wheel, so it can be like slit down or like, you know, hooked in. I don't know how to call it, but if you come with the thread towards the little wheel here, then you can slide it underneath it. So now it goes, the thread goes from the back to the front of the wheel, and now you will return, and here you will wind the thread around the bobbin clockwise, and then you will push the bobbin towards this little wheel. And then when you step on the pedal, this wheel starts turning. And this is how you thread your bobbin. Now let's have a look at threading of the bobbin from another angle. So I will place a new bobbin on the thorn. This is the same procedure. Here we have the thread, so the thread goes behind. This is the direction. And now we come to this little wheel. So here I take the thread and slide it underneath the wheel from the front. And I will wrap it around the little wheel from the back and return to the front. Now, whenever I pull on this, you can see that the thread starts turning. And let's go to the bobbin. I go from the back and I will wrap it around the bobbin clockwise. Yes, I'm gonna do it a couple of times, and then I'm gonna push the bobbin towards this little wheel, and then all I have to do is to step on the pedal, and then I would be able to thread my bobbin. A tip for you guys: whenever you're sewing something a little bit bigger, like for example pants, button-down shirt, a jacket or a bag, it is very likely that you will need more than just one bobbin. In that case, it is very useful to thread at least 2 bobbins at the beginning. Mostly you will need only 2, you will need 3 only for really big projects, like for example my winter coat that I made last year. If you missed that video, I will link it down below. So for anything that starts with the amount of thread you will need for pants, it's always great to have 2 bobbins ready. So you will put one inside of the sewing machine and you can keep one here on the top. And once the bobbin that you put into the sewing machine is empty, all you have to do is to switch the bobbins. Otherwise, if you threaded only one bobbin, you would have to take the bobbin out, pull the thread out of the machine, thread the bobbin, and then you would have to thread your sewing machine again. And I don't think it's necessary when you already know you're gonna need more thread. So it is always great to do it right at the beginning and have the second bobbin ready. There is one more thing I think we should discuss right now, and this is the sewing foot. So there is a little metal part that you push. It looks like a beak. I will move the camera a little bit to the side. I don't think you can see that, so I will probably have to film another clip from the back. But there is a little metal part. When you push it, then the sewing foot falls. And the sewing foot has this little bridge in the middle. Can you see that? And this is where it gets hooked to the sewing machine. The sewing machine, on the other hand, has this metal part that connects with the sewing machine. So what you have to do is, whenever you want to put in a sewing foot, is you place it underneath this metal part, and there is a handle that lowers this thing. This is this handle. So you just lower it and it clicks to the sewing foot. And whenever you want to remove it, you push here on the back. Let's have a look at this from this angle. So this is the thing I spoke of that you need to push in order to remove your sewing foot. And this is how it looks like when you attach the sewing foot. So I'm touching the handle on the one side. I'm gonna turn the machine then over so that you can see the handle too. So this is how it looks. And also I'm going to turn the machine. I will remove now the sewing foot. What I wanted to show you is that this thing is also attached with a screw. For some sewing foot, which we will see in further episodes. Oops, sorry. I keep kicking the camera, I'm really sorry. So for some other sewing foots, you need to remove this part. But for classical sewing foots like a zipper foot or this one, or the small zipper foot, you do not need to remove that. But what happens to me every now and then is that the screw loosens and this thing suddenly falls down. So it's always best to keep a screw close by. So should this thing fall off, that you can screw it back on. It's really not difficult. It's kind of very intuitive where it goes, so don't worry about that. So I'm going to attach this again, and then I will turn the machine so that you can see how the handle looks like, if I will ever manage to click it from this angle, because I'm just having this sewing machine at a really weird angle. So now let's turn it, because I find it much easier than moving the camera. And this is the handle I spoke of. So you can see it is on this side. It's kind of inside of the sewing machine. And then let's have a look at the sewing foot also from the back, if that's any help. So that was it for today. I hope that my video has been helpful for you. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumb up, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you won't miss any further episodes of this series and any other future projects. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you a wonderful day, and I'm looking forward to seeing you for the next video. Bye!